ratings out of MSNBC. They haven't seen numbers like this in 2 decades, guys. It's that bad. We're talking about the lowest since 2004. So you got to go back 20 years to see anything quite as bad as this. Because you see, ever since the election, they've been plunging. They've cut their numbers in half. Can you imagine cutting your numbers in half? I think because everybody suddenly woke up and realized these people are a bunch of phonies. These people actually don't believe in what they're doing. I mean, heck, you got Mika and Joe running down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring themselves. Rosie O'Donnell didn't appreciate that one. Why? Because they're opportunists. And they get it. And they see the handwriting on the wall. And now you have a network that is owned by the likes of Comcast, which is waking up saying, why the heck do we own this thing anyway? I mean, who needs this headache? Joy Reid and company. Joe Scarborough and his wife, tag-along Mika Brzezinski. We don't need them. You know what? We don't need any. Hey, you know what? They'd probably be very happy with CNBC, but who even needs that, right? You get rid of all these businesses, which are low growth, no growth businesses. You hang on to the streaming network. That would be Peacock. You hang on to the broadcast network. That would be NBC News, and you get rid of the rest of it. It's actually pretty great. It's quite brilliant. They're going to do this spin-off, you see, and it's time. It's time. Of course, I don't know how much money they're going to get. I mean, if you think about ratings being where they are, and they're really bad, I'm going to go through the numbers, then how are you going to get the best price? You know, some of the talent they're trying to put on like a good spin, and they're like, oh, it'll be great, it'll be great. Because you see, now we can have people that are going to focus on what we do. Of course, if they focus on what you do, guys, you might be really in big trouble. They think that they'll get some kind of investment. Let me just tell you, you're going to have a bunch of shareholders that are going to get really demanding, and they're going to say, let's just bleed this for what it's worth. Or you're going to have somebody come in like a private equity company, if you could do that. I mean, the deal has certain tax advantages in place because it's a tax-free spinoff, so those wouldn't really be sort of obsolete until a couple of years from now. So could somebody come in and buy it? There would be a tax penalty, but you know, that wouldn't stop Elon necessarily, would it? I mean, Elon Musk, he's willing to pay a pretty penny for just about anything. Although I don't know about this, because look at what you're dealing with. Maybe Elon could save it. Here we go. November 26, MSNBC had the lowest rated non-holiday weekday among advertising coveted demos, adults 25 to 54, lowest in 20 years. MSNBC only got 38,000 average demo viewers, its smallest non-holiday audience among the critical viewers since July 19th, 2004. Oh my goodness. I mean, we knew it was a dying business, but really? So bad stuff. Multiple programs saw their audience size cut in half from election day. I mean, just really, really bad. Down 50%. I mean, Reid out. The Joy Reid readout down 50%. Somehow that doesn't really surprise me. Right? I mean, this is a group of people that somehow thought they were in control, total control of what you should be thinking. And guess what? They just realized they're not. Oh gosh, they're not. I mean, they said as much. Let's go back to 2022. Here's Mika and Joe on their little morning show together, husband and wife, talking about how they control. They're supposed to control what you think. Can you imagine if Donald Trump were back in charge and maybe he had a hand in something? Here we go.
He said he's going to do.
Well, and I think that the dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
Yeah, if you look at the issues.
That's your job?
Yamisha's right. He's doing exactly what he said. It's right.
That's your job. Not anymore. Not anymore. America just fired you guys. Take a look at those ratings, shall we? Down 51%. You have been fired. And you know what? The ratings got even worse after they announced to the world that they went down to Mar-a-Lago. Right? Then they just got even worse, even worse, even worse. Well, now, of course, Comcast is putting the thing up for sale because they don't want anything to do with it. They're talking about a valuation. I've heard some numbers floated, maybe $7 billion. Again, chump change for Elon Musk. And what would he do? Let me ask you. If you're watching this live, let me know in the comments. I'm going to read them as we go to this soundbite. And if you are watching after we are live. Make sure you subscribe and you hit the bell so you know when I am live every day. But also let me know, what do you think Elon should do? What would be your first order of business? I know a couple people that worry they'd get fired.
We could all be fired a year from now whenever this happens. You never know what's going to happen.
No, you never know. Do you? You never know, guys. You never know. You know, it's tough. They're in an industry that's dying. It's partly why I'm excited to be where I am right here. It's why it is important that you subscribe and share and like. This is a different medium. There is no sort of outside control. There's no management structure getting in the way of things. And so I feel that it's more transparent. It's more honest. You know, there's some bumps along the way, but in the end, it's worth it because you're getting reality. You're getting me without all the sort of cablification, if you would. We'll coin a new phrase. But they don't understand at MSNBC why they're not relevant anymore. They don't understand why things like X or streaming on YouTube or any of these platforms, they don't understand why this is where it's at. And it's frustrating for them because they're used to controlling the narrative. They're used to having a ton of power.
New research shows 1 in 5 adults regularly get their news from influencers on social media. The number is even higher among younger Americans, with almost 40% under the age of 30 getting their news from those sources. According to the Pew Research Center, the social media site X remains the most widely accessed platform, followed by Instagram and YouTube.
I mean, that comes obviously for political news. And Mike, that's the challenge. You grew up in a newsroom like Gene grew up in a newsroom. I mean, that's a lot of challenge. That's a challenge for a lot of mainstream media sources is, do they make themselves relevant again? To hear 20% of adults who actually get influencers on social media.
I don't know
maybe somebody who makes baskets, and while they're making baskets, they look up and say, vote for candidate X.
I don't know how how we make ourselves relevant again, because we can't compete with 20-second snippets on an iPhone, walking up the street,
morsels,
getting your entire news digest of the day in less than a minute on your phone as you're walking under the crowd with coffee in one hand and your phone in the other. I don't know how we catch up to that.
Yeah, so Gene Robinson, do you agree with Mike? Because I find this hard to believe. That younger voters would be more interested in getting an entertaining 20-second news snippit than watching a cable news show for 4 hours from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. This seems like an easy choice to us here.
What is wrong with these people? Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, if I knew the answer, I would implement it immediately, right? And reverse this. But we have to compete. I mean, the answer is we don't know how to compete with these social media basket making influencers or whatever, but we have to, and so we've got to figure out ways to do it, and maybe we make our own 20-second snippets, and we meet viewers where they are. We meet news consumers where they are, because they're not here, and that's the problem.
Coming up.
Yeah, they're definitely not there. They're definitely not there. I'm glad that you guys realize that. They're not there. So, of course, MSNBC has been trying to make its own little 20-second snippets, but that really hasn't gone that well. I don't know if you've noticed some of these. I have played some. They're rather disgusting, frankly, to watch, but you might as well know what the world is doing and how they're trying to answer this call to somehow be more hip, more in vogue. Here's one, Reid, trying to do exactly that. Take a listen.
Hey, I just want to give some free advice to the white progressives, particularly white progressive women who may be thinking about marching against the Trump victory, maybe putting back on the P word hats and doing that thing. I would just say probably don't send any of those invites to any black women you know. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're not coming. I'm pretty sure black women have resigned from the Save America Coalition, Save Democracy Coalition, and definitely the Save the Democratic Party Coalition. I think that's probably not happening. I would just keep those invites maybe among your own friends, because I don't think they're coming. But yeah, I think black women are now on the Save Black Women, Prioritize Black Men, and prioritize Black communities, Black businesses, and that, and, you know, the Black spaces, but Save America, Save the Democratic Party. Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Oh, by the way, Rachel Maddow's also getting killed in the ratings too. So that's Joy. She's not doing so well. And the 20-second snippets, they're really not doing well, okay? Because I don't think America subscribes to that division that they're constantly trying to sell. I mean, they sat there and they told us he was the reincarnation of Hitler. Don't even get me started on how grossly disgusting that is to say to the Jewish population worldwide, to anyone who lost a loved one in World War II. I mean, that's pretty wild, right? To all of our allies. You're going to say that kind of stuff about somebody just because you don't want him to get elected? I mean, come on. No wonder nobody's watching you. Right? And the queen of these conspiracy theories that would take you down these wild rabbit holes, rabbit hole after rabbit hole, Rachel Maddow, I'd watch that and I'd be like, I can't believe she's doing that. And she had a kind of bizarrely entertaining way of doing it, which actually made it more conspiratorial and more, you want to talk dangerous? I would say dangerous. Rachel Maddow was at it day in, day out, night in, night out. And now, I got news for her. She's not doing so well. Not doing well at all. In fact, if I look at these numbers, I do believe that it's so bad for Rachel Maddow, so bad that there's a show on Adult Swim. Do we have that? No, maybe here. There's a show on Adult Swim called Bob's Burgers that's doing better than Rachel Maddow right now. That's how bad it is. But these suckers just paid her how much money